so we're driving. We're on the road finally on the road. I haven't had a chance to look into any additional information. I look like a hot mess because I'm not wearing any makeup whatsoever. And I'm exhausted, to say the least, right? So we're on the road. I wanted to flip this around, officially on the road. Hopefully it's not. Maybe it'll go in a little bit. It won't even, there we go. There we go. There's my drive, right there. I gotta say, after all this work on this car, I can still tell there's something wrong, but he told me I needed another $500 part to finish everything up, so I'll have about, I don't know, by the time it's all said and done, about $2,300 or $2,400 in the car, this repair. This is just, it's in it. My car's still, after $1,800, it's not driving right. So I want to pray to God it gets me to Tennessee and back, and then once it gets back, we'll figure out what to do with the repair. But that's about it. That's about it. Good morning, everyone. I can't see who's all in here, but it's nice to see you. I'm not going to watch chat too much. I'll just have a conversation about what we've learned. Monday crush is Betty Bullhorn. I didn't bring the Bullhorn. If things rise to the level of needing a Bullhorn, I'll go buy one. I mean, they're like $15-20. But I don't foresee that happening. I'm out here doing searches. I really don't have time to MF with, the Proudfoots. They're idiots. They've done something to their child. They are showing they've done something to their child by the lack of their caring, lack of empathy, lack of sympathy, lack of being just, respectful. I mean, who the flip goes out and starts hunting for motorcycles and shopping for motorcycles when their child is missing? Who sells their house when their child is missing? Who runs 3.5 hours away when their child is missing? I don't want to hear anybody sitting here telling me that the Proudfoots have a hard time showing their emotions. Well, if they have a hard time showing their emotions, they must have a hard time. They must have a shopping problem too. Shopaholic, maybe? I mean, I don't freaking know. But I know one thing they're not concerned with and not working toward, and that's finding their damn son. I'm having to go from Florida to Tennessee because 2 assholes won't get off their butts and get out there and search for their own son, wasting my time, my resources that could be going toward a family that shouldn't be dealing with this, right? That didn't do this by themselves. This family, I'm having to spend resources on a family that did this all by themselves. It's irritating. I don't know how to turn my messages. Hold on, let me see if I can turn my my messages on. I don't know how to turn my messages on. Down here. No, I don't know how to turn my messages on. Oh, here we go, live chat. There we go. Hopefully that fixes it. Oh, I can see you guys. There you are. Good morning, y'all. It's nice to see you. As you guys know, we are driving to Tennessee. I just had the reason why I wasn't in Tennessee is I had a lot of repairs done to the car. The car's still wonky. Around town, you don't see it, you don't notice it, but on the interstate, I can notice it. My car's still not right, so it's got to go back into the freaking shop. But that's okay. We'll get Black Beauty up and running soon enough. So we're just going to have a chat. This is an opportunity to see if we can separate from Chris. I hope that that's what it is. I really do. I hope, but at the end of the day, I think in my mind, with all the chaos Chris and Katie have brought about on this case, honestly, I think the way Chris is acting now, like, why wasn't he doing it then? The reason why he's doing it now is because I believe law enforcement noose is tightening. I'm pretty sure that they've drugged them back into that the interrogation room more times than we know. I'm pretty sure they've sat at their kitchen table asking them additional questions. I guarantee since this case started, law enforcement, especially now, probably is not making it very easy on the Proudfoots, and the pressure is it's got to start wearing on them. And I honestly believe that is why he's now starting to approach Seth, because this is starting to look so bad for them. But you know what? It's like every time we turn around, they're making themselves look bad. He can go to a vigil to scream at Seth. He can go to a vigil to intimidate Seth. And he can go out and shop for a motorcycle, but he still can't attend a freaking vigil. He still can't post a sign for his missing stepson. And he still, with all of his training, can't get out in the woods and actually show the world he even gives a damn. He doesn't care about his image to the world at this point, in my opinion. Because if he did, he would act like he gives a shit, which both him and Chris have not so far. I mean, Katie and Chris still haven't so far. I have not seen I have not seen the emotions I've seen on Chris or Katie's face like I have Seth. There's times when we've seen Seth, you know, he has this tough exterior, and then he's on a live, and somebody will ask him a question, and he'll almost break down. He'll grab himself real quick and compose himself, but he almost broke down. And I'm just like, you know, we don't see that. We never ever see that from Katie or Chris. We just don't. So it just, I don't know. It upsets me and it unnerves me. How's our picture and everything going so far? Usually I start getting a little hinky with internet, especially around these tractor trailers. So I just want to make sure everybody's still being able to see and hear me, and I'm not too. I don't like running live when I'm on the road because it just sucks. Isn't the sheriff related to the best friend? Proudfoots, yeah. I don't know if he's the best friend. Yeah, my car's definitely not running right. My check engine light's just steady blinking. If you guys can see that. See, both of those lights, those yellow lights, that's what I spent money to repair, to get both of those yellow lights off. And guess what? Since I had the repair, they were both off when I picked up the car. And of course, whenever I drove it, the check engine light came on. So and you guys know it took 6 weeks to get this car back. So I'm not really eager to go throw it in the frickin' shop again. But he swears it'll be a day that we're not going to have the problems we had. I don't know what happened, but apparently he wiped something on my computer, on my thing that's not working right. So he said he tried to reinstall it, but it didn't work, and so I need to replace the whole piece. I'm like, whatever. Hello, Daphne. It's nice to see you, love. Nice to see you. The weather right now kind of sucks. It is overcast here in Florida. It looks like, I can't tell if it's cold rain, cold clouds, or if it's just rain. But it seems like it's something, but I don't know. Every time I see this, it makes me feel like we have a cold front coming in, but I don't watch the news very much. Very rarely do I watch the weather. So, I don't know. Good morning, all. I see that we have 110 people in chat. It's nice to see you all. I am traveling today. Many of you know that I am going to Tennessee. I haven't even left. I haven't been on the road an hour, and I'm already having some vehicle problems, but it is what it is. I'm going to keep going. I don't know what else to do. I mean, I've postponed this trip for 2 months, and it is what it is. So we're just going to keep going. If the car dies, we'll fix it when it dies. I don't know how to do. All right. Trooper, pushing the envelope, always pushing the envelope. So, and then I knew there was going to be some problems because my car hasn't not cranked in a while. And this morning I went out there and I had a problem. I mean, I got it cranked right away. I just put my jumper on it, but it seemed like the battery was low. So I don't know if the battery was just really low from being, just drained for 6 weeks or what, but we'll see. I'm on the road now. If I have any more cranking problems, I've got everything imaginable in this car to get this car cranked, and tools and oil, and hell, I might even have a freaking oil filter in here somewhere. Like, I'm prepared to do work on the road. Okay, it's an older car. It's what you got to do. So, but definitely not running the way it should be running. Actually, it's running almost exactly the same before he did any of the work, if you really want to know my truth. So, very upset about that. So we'll go in there, we'll have him do the other $500 part, and I swear to God, if my car's not fixed, he's probably going to be in a lawsuit. I don't know. I don't know. $2,300 and the car's still running the same exact way as when I dropped it off. Probably not going to be a happy camper. My mechanic's always done me right, so I don't really worry too much about it. And he always tells me everything up front. So like even this, he told me that there's a part that's still defective. He said he did everything. He thought he just wiped it and by accident, and he said he reinstalled all the settings and everything into it, and it's still just not right. It's not holding the settings, and he says he thinks the part's just kaput. So things like that happen. You change one part, another whole part dies. So I think that was the situation. We're creeping up. We're past 185,000 miles on Black Beauty. I mean, we put some miles on this car over these last 3 years. If I had to say 60,000 miles, that would be an understatement. That's like 20,000 miles a year. Averaging, which it really was more like our first and second year cost us the most. Last year I really didn't travel much because of all the situation, people following me and stuff like that. And people are trying to say that they weren't following me. That's a lie. You guys know damn well somebody came up to one of my searches. You know damn well that somebody working for them came to my court hearing and reported back. This is not the first time. Aileen's come to my house. Aileen's came to Dolly's house. You guys have all heard and seen all those text messages. This idea that I'm lying about this stuff is bullcrap, because we have, the person I'm suing herself on her live, acknowledging that she was complicit in it. So this idea that these things didn't happen to me are not true. And so I didn't really travel all of 2023 because I didn't feel like being followed. And that's pretty sad. And, quite frankly, it's highly illegal. And that's what we're dealing with right now. So I know people are trying to say they didn't do it and they don't have anything. This is a digital world. And I can guarantee every bit of this was handled through the internet, some way, shape, or form. It's going to be discoverable. And that's going to be a situation that they're going to have to deal with at that time. But as far as this thing going away, I know everybody's saying that it's frivolous. It's kind of funny, because if it was frivolous, I don't think a judge would need 60 days to look over the case. They're going on procedure. Did I meet all of my elements? Not the fact that we don't have a case. And as a matter of fact, can't wait for that transcript to be dropped, which we know if they don't drop it, they're lying, right? So they're going to drop the transcript, and at the end of the thing, you'll hear her attorney acknowledge that she knows that there's a case, that it cannot be dismissed with prejudice, because I got a case that came out of her own attorney's mouth, and she's sitting up on her channel acting like this is still a frivolous lawsuit and I don't have a case. Okay, well, honey, produce the transcript, right? Produce the transcript. That's what I'm going to say, because somebody's telling fibs here. Now I expect them to turn some words around because it's in paper form, but you can't fake what's said. So, and you can't fake what the judge said, and there's that. So they can, hopefully that'll come out, and I'm actually surprised they haven't released it yet. I would assume that they would have had that in their hot little hands within 72 hours, but I could be wrong. We'll see what all transpires with that. But as far as me in this court hearing, I've never talked really about the court hearing, except to clarify some things, because people like to lie, and I'm allowed to clarify those things. You've got somebody that has literally no legal experience or education trying to explain legal documents to her audience, her echo chamber of 6,500 people at best. And I hate to tell you, and burst the bubble, they're wrong. They're wrong. So we'll just keep moving through this, but I promise you this case is not going away. Even if the judge, I don't think with all the information that the judge is going to read, is he going to dismiss this case. I just really don't think in his heart of hearts, with the overwhelming evidence that I supporting documentation, I should say, supporting documentation I provided, I don't see where he's going to dismiss this case with prejudice. I think if my complaint is so far where he can't give me one cause of action. He'll give me enough time to redo my amended complaint, and then we'll just make it so tight that they can't wiggle out of it. And then we'll have a case. Then we'll have a case, right? So it's all about making sure that people understand what truly happened. And hopefully by the end of this, maybe, because I really don't believe, only a certain select few people knew exactly what was going on behind the scenes while she was smiling to her masses and acting like she wasn't doing it. And so they were supporting these two creators because they didn't believe that they were part of this behind the scenes shenanigans. And their audience still doesn't believe it. So the only way I'm going to prove it is to prove it. Is to go to court and show people what they were doing to me, because I really truly don't believe people know. And if you read that complaint is truthful. That amended complaint, if you go through it and read it, it was truthful. And if that does not disturb every single person that goes on social media, I don't know what to say to you. But those are my claims, and those are what I plan on proving in a court of law. Now, whether I prevail or get compensation for that is up to a judge and a jury. That's where we'll be. But as far as this being frivolous, I think we've established it's not frivolous from our own attorney's admission in court. And then, it will go forward. This is going to go forward, one way or another. She knows it, her attorney knows it, I know it, the judge knows it. It's just working and figuring out how the best path forward is. And that's where we're at. So we'll see. We'll see. As far as letting my audience down softly, anyways, I only need one claim. And I've established that from out the gate. We need one to make a lawsuit. So this, I'm letting my audience down easy. You guys have been with me for this ride the entire time. I love how she puts things in people's mouths. It's really interesting about that. But there we are. And I'm happy to be out and away from all that drama, at least for a week, looking and taking my energy and resources and putting towards something good instead of something hateful and mean. So we're going to go out here and get in the woods. We're going to go get dirty. We're going to go be some real females, okay? We're going to be what real women should be known for. It should be for us being able to squawk as loud as we can and complain and try to be mean to other women. It's about empowering women. It's about doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. It's easy to sit. I could probably build my entire channel on hate. Would it make me feel good? Of course not. Of course not. Trust me, I've got enough hate in my life right now to wrap around the earth and back, and I don't want to deal with it. I really don't. So here we are on the road again. Jen was singing that to me this morning because I was on our way back from Illinois. I was like, on the road again, just can't wait to get on the road again. I love talking about true crimes with my friends. I can't wait to get on the road again. Who gets entertained like this on a Monday morning right before you go to work? Right? Come on. Who? Somebody better throw some thumbs up. Somebody better throw some thumbs up. Yeah, we're not really talking true crime today. I'm watching my check engine light blink and my traction control light come on. It's amazing after spending $1,800 to make sure they turn off. I love it. It's great. Living the life, living the dream, my friend. Living the dream. But hey, at least I'm smiling, right? Better than the alternative. Anyways, guys, so where are we going to go? I've got one spot that's just been eating a hole in my brain. It really has. It's not too far, not too close. It's like a perfect little spot. I'm praying to God it's fruitful because I have a good feeling about this area. Not that it's going to make a hill of beans, you know. God knows what. Chris and Katie had so much time, guys. We don't know when something happened to Sebastian. We don't. We can reasonably say that he most likely left his house around 3 a.m. Okay, I think that's where the consensus is. Whatever happened. So that means whatever happened to him would have had to happen to him before that. So if he's going out of the house at 3 a.m., about 3:11, when we start seeing all this activity and lights around their house. Now, we've all heard about, CCTV footage, Ring doorbell footage, or anything like that having the wrong time on it. Typically, we hear a timing issue, like the time, but the actual clock freezing doesn't make sense to me. They're like, oh no, it froze right on 3:11, and it's like, then why is everybody talking about 3 o'clock in the morning? It seems to me something, and I understand that law enforcement needs to dilute whatever we have, especially if it goes to the integrity of the investigation. I get that. So, this car is, I don't know, this seems like it's running worse than it was running before I took it in there. But we know that whatever happened inside, most likely inside that home. But we don't know when. These are some key numbers, key times that we do not have in our timeline. If somebody does, please fill them in. Maybe a neighbor that knows when he took the trash out or when law enforcement last saw him might know. But everything that I'm understanding is they got home. We don't know what time they got home. What time did they physically get home from the steakhouse? What time did they go to the steakhouse? How long were they at the steakhouse? Did they take a to-go box, like a full meal with them, as if they're taking a meal home to another person? There's so many questions that I truly have about this particular event right there around when he got home, because we don't know what time he got home. We only know what his mother has told us as far as his time that he goes to bed. And does he always go to bed at 9? I think in an interview she may have said that he always went to bed around 9. I know she indicated that she had no problem getting him into bed, and she had this weird laugh, and I pointed it out from the very beginning. I said, I don't like that laugh. It makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't know what it means, but I didn't like the laugh after she was talking about her not having problems putting him to bed. It almost implied that she had problems putting him to bed the way it was. And I felt like, I guess I felt like that was deception for me, because she was trying to hide something that could have, but I don't know. The other thing is why did she drive around the block into school? That's the other thing I don't understand. Is she told us in that very first the green shirt interview, and I think the hands interview. I would definitely suggest you guys all going back. I know you probably watched it 1,000 times, but go back and re-watch it. But I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, she implied that he went to bed and she had no problems. There was nothing in either one of those interviews that indicated Katie or Christopher Proudfoot, well, Katie was the only one that allegedly was home, that Katie Proudfoot was driving around at all. She even says, I think in the green shirt interview, she went as far as to say that she didn't even really go outside because he doesn't go outside. I remember something like that coming out of her mouth, but I can't remember if it was the green shirt interview or if it was the Smiley's World interview. But for whatever reason, I think it was the very first interview that Katie and Chris did, and they were in that green shirt. And he had the scratches up and down his arms, which was pretty bold for him to wear. But I think he would have had problems if he wore a long sleeve shirt. If everybody's in his house sweating and he's wearing a long sleeve shirt to try to cover up those scratches and marks all up and down his arm. So I think he was put in a position where he had to, but he figured that it had been so long that nobody would think that they were associated. But the problem is it had been so long and they're still on his arms. That's what's making us concerned, because we know how bodies heal, and he should have been healed. He shouldn't have any scratches or scabs or anything on his arms. Those should all be gone. But he's been away from the house so many times. I mean, even the very next day, he took off. He took off for hours. Where did he go? What was he doing? He said it was to go get his camper. But we know how people are. Where was Sebastian? Was Sebastian in his camper this entire time? I mean, what did he do with Sebastian? I don't know. I just know that the camper is important because Chris Proudfoot made the camper important. I don't know how it fits into this puzzle. I just truly believe it fits in somewhere. I believe it fits in somewhere. So, where are we? 25 minutes? Yeah, not really all that tired, but I did get some sleep. I wanted to be up at 2 a.m. I wanted to be on the road by 2 a.m., but, you know, I don't even really make plans anymore because I kind of do my own thing. My body tells me I go. So, if my body's up, I'll be up. If my body's ready to go, I'll be ready to go. If my body's saying, whoop, pump the brake, babe, I'm pumping the brakes. I think, you know, that's the one thing, you know, working for yourself and doing all of this, you got to learn what works because you don't carry normal hours. I don't work 9 to 5. Like I'll wake up at 11 o'clock at night and work, and I'll work until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and then I'll go to sleep for a couple hours and get up and do a live or get a video together. And you know, as far as working, I don't keep normal work hours. I work when I'm up. I sleep when I need to sleep. I get out in the woods when I need to get out in the woods. It's I don't really have a schedule anymore because I try to keep a schedule, and it's so hard to keep a schedule doing this because you never know where you're going to be. You never know what story is going to take a little more research. It's hard to get everything, you know, and of course I've got an amazing team behind me that's been supporting me for literally years. I mean, my mods have been with me. Some of my mods have literally been with me from day one. From day one. Literally day one. Been right by my side. And so it's, you know, it's been a long journey for all of us. We've been through a lot. I have to think that this experience and everything has changed us a little bit. Not, you know, I want to think for the good, but, you know, there is some negativity that came along with it, especially, you know, the mental aspect of it, you know, having people following you. People don't understand how uncomfortable that is until it happens to you. It's very, very, very uncomfortable because you don't know these people and you don't know what the intentions are for you. Is it just to get you doing something stupid, or is it to harm you? It's a scary situation, and I denounce it absolutely. And you know, that mental anguish of not wanting to leave your house, that's something I don't wish upon anyone. That fear, to put the fear in somebody, I don't wish that on anybody. So we're out. We're trying to reclaim that back, and you guys watched me struggle all last year with all of this. So we're out. We're gonna go do this thing. We just have a few auto problems. That's all. No good deed goes unpunished, right? No good deed goes unpunished. But I can honestly say, and knock on wood, good Lord, knock on wood, Black Beauty's never let me down, you know, never let me down. So this is like my first venture out without really any backup on the grounds, but I'm pretty sure it's only going to take a phone call. Like, I know so many creators that are close by in Tennessee. I know creators that can be there within a few hours. So I think if anything were to happen, I'm good. Oh, I've got to remember to turn my share location on for my mod squad, so you guys can monitor me, make sure I'm safe, and God forbid, send the cavalry, right? Monitor Chris Proudfoot's whereabouts too. If you see him get too close to Bullhorn Betty, make sure you guys call law enforcement. Tell him Chris Proudfoot's stalking Bullhorn Betty. Chris, just want to let you know I'm fearful of your existence. Therefore, I would like you to maintain a 500 feet distance from Bullhorn Betty or any of my associates that may be on the grounds out there. Just FYI. If somebody can clip that and make sure that Chris, I know we got some haters in here watching from the bushes. Go ahead and clip that for me and make sure that Chris gets that, please. I'd greatly appreciate it. At least do something with your time besides hate. So, what half this, that's a stinky plant. I know what that is. Hold your breath, folks. Hold your breath. Yep, we're going by it. That wasn't too bad. Well, Pasco County's got their poop under control, okay? I didn't smell it too bad. I can't stand counties that don't have air quality control around their poop chutes. Offensive odor is offensive odor, okay? If other counties can prevent the offensive odor, certainly other places can too, okay? I don't want to drive by and feel like I'm driving through a toilet. So Seth hired a PI confirmed. Hold on, let me see what you said. It's hard to, I'll try here, but so I didn't quite get the gist of your stuff, but I did see that you're talking about that night and the trash can. The trash can. I don't know what the actual question is, so I'm going to tell you everything that I know about the whole trash can situation. It is my understanding that law enforcement does in fact truly have a copy of a videotape that smell bad. Yeah, but there's going to be a lot of things that smell bad. I mean, I just threw milk that was in one of my other refrigerators out, and my garbage can smells rancid right now. I just cleaned out my whole refrigerator because I don't know when I'm going to be back home. So there were some things in there that actually, you know what, I just realized I forgot to dump my chicken soup down the drain. That's going to be lovely when I get back home. Oh, and I got to let my neighbor. Okay, sorry, I'm getting on a tangent. My mind's sort of running 1,000 miles a minute. But the smell in the you're not going to get a rancid smell in a garbage can that quickly. It sounds like whatever happened, the garbage was being picked up that morning, so there would have been no smell. It wouldn't have gotten to the point where there would have been a stench or, in my opinion, the decomp of the body. Your rigor mortis starts setting in within like about 8 hours. So you're looking at, for rigor mortis to set in, you're looking about at least 8 hours, and you're still not getting a smell. I don't even know when rigor mortis, I don't even think you bloat yet during rigor mortis. I could be wrong. I've got to go back and review that. But I think while you're in, and they call it rigor, I don't know, rigor mortis. I heard one guys call it rigor. I've always known it as rigor mortis. I don't know how, whoever says it, however they say it, it's however they say it, but you guys know what I'm talking about, the stiffening of the body. And that happens about 8 hours. So I just don't anticipate this god-awful stench being an issue. It had to have been some food or something or other, in my opinion, because there's just no way he would have been producing any kind of scent at that moment. So I don't know. I mean, I'll have to look into, maybe somebody can do that right now. Can somebody Google search and find out when, at what point the body starts breaking down where you can smell it? For whatever reason, I want to say it's a couple days, 3-4 days. I don't really know. So, oh, well, it's nice to see you, sweet Jenna. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty channel. We are rolling out. We're going to the Sebastian Rogers case. I was supposed to be there almost 2 months ago. I've been covering the case since it was new, but I've had automobile issues. I'm still dealing with some automobile issues, but I think the car's well enough that I can get it to Tennessee and back, but then it's got to go back into the shop. So we're going out there. We're going to put our feet on the ground and do some ground searches there for Sebastian Rogers in a few key areas that I identified. And then after that, we're probably going to meander over to Kingsport, Tennessee, because, Layla Santinello and Holland Snap, they're two totally unrelated cases. The only relation they have is the area in which they went missing. We received detrimental news about Layla when we were there the first time. But the weird thing is that they said that they have confirmed the person that was at the ice cream shop, and it was not Layla Santinello. And surprisingly, the lady was wearing the same exact clothing that Layla Santinello was wearing. She was wearing a white tank top, black pants, and she had no shoes. Talk about, there's very, very few times that things are truly a coincidence in law enforcement. I mean, I've had law enforcement agents for years tell me there are no coincidences. When you start seeing coincidences, look into them. Very rarely are there truly coincidences. And this is one where this is truly just a coincidence. It's one of those oddities, that usually would never happen, but happened. Now, could law enforcement be deceiving us about that? Yes, but I don't see what purpose, I don't see what purpose it would help. And it screws up our entire timeline with Layla Santinello too, because we were dependent on her being at that marble slab. A lot of our search efforts out there was based on that being her at the marble slab. So now when we go back and look at everything, it causes us problems because we have a lady coming out of the woods that matches Layla Santinello's description in a white tank top and black pants with no shoes on, that resembles a woman that showed up at the marble slab around 12:30 later that day in the same clothes. And now it makes me question, when did Layla truly disappear? Did she go out there and sleep in those woods, or was this the other woman that was at the marble slab? I truly have now questions about who came out of the woods if law enforcement truly, in fact, states that woman at the marble slab was not Layla Santinello. So now we have Layla Santinello running from someone, terrified from someone, running toward the woods, and that's the last we know of her. Because I can't tell you whether the man that I spoke to that's at that facility, that trucking facility, that saw her coming out and did this, we would want to assume that was Layla Santinello. But now it makes me wonder, was it? Because the same lady in the same described clothes showed up at the marble slab, but it definitely was not Layla Santinello. Is it possible that lady ran from her husband the same time Layla ran from her husband, and somebody got Layla, and this whole time we've been chasing this other lady's footprints because Layla disappeared the 26th when she ran out in the woods, somebody picked her up. And it wasn't the 27th when she disappeared, it was truly the 26th. Because so far, outside, if we remove that marble slab, we have no proof of life outside of that lady when Layla ran. Outdoor body would process, quickly, and that's correct. In a heat, for example, when Brian Laundrie unalived himself, he was bones. He was bones. He was fully skeletal remains in 10 days. And people they're like, what, 10 days? Yes, that man was skeleton in 10 days in 100-degree weather heat out here in the Florida Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park. He would have been straight bones by 10-12 days because of the heat and the environment. However, somebody that's, say, in Tennessee in colder weather, they may be preserved seriously for a month. A person in the water, if you're in cold, chilled water, believe it or not, people would think the water would tear your body apart worse, just break it down. And believe it or not, if it's in cold water, it's just the opposite. Now, you're still going to have marine life activity, but you're going to be preserved pretty well. Yeah, you learned a lot working. Yeah, to be honest with you, I never worked in the morgue. I know Justin for all was, he was a mortician, so he has a lot of experiences that people can garner, and it's really interesting because people, I don't think, realize what all goes in to deceased body, the preservation of it, or how they break down, or the bloating, and when they're not found. your body deteriorates when it's just like, put it like this. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed something about homes. When homes sit for many years and say you turn on the water, the pipes bust or something like that happens, it's because they weren't used and they basically dry rotted, right? They deteriorated because they weren't in use. It's kind of funny because if you had a home that had water running through it, even though it was abandoned, the chances of the pipes busting when you turn the water on are slim to none because water had been flowing that whole entire time. But it's the deterioration, and that's the way your body is. While your body's working, pumping, and flowing, it's going to keep doing, no matter how it ages, it's going to keep working, pumping, and flowing. The minute that power shuts off, it starts deteriorating, and it starts deteriorating at a rapid speed. So, it just, I don't know how to explain it other than that. My plumbing analogies. I figured it's better than my animal analogies. It seems like people get a little offensive with the animal analogies, but I'm an animal lover. I'm not necessarily a people lover. I'm just joking. I obviously love people. So 15 minutes camper at Yogi. I know they had the little cabins, so he obviously didn't want to live in the cabins, but the cabins you have to rent for a month at a time because I checked it out. I checked it out, right? I checked it out. So, checked out the reservations out there too. You know me, come on. Does it surprise you guys? I'm going to do anything lawful and legal to get if I got to be a paying customer, damn it, I'm going to be a paying customer. I got a tent. Don't underestimate the power of Bullhorn Betty, right? Don't underestimate my power, right? I always think outside the box. See, the problem in life today is we have so much more technology than we once did. Like, we have trail cameras that we can put on public property. We have, we just have a whole host of things that we can do that we weren't once able to do. I mean, we have night vision cameras, night vision binoculars, night vision whatevers. I mean, there's capabilities that us, normal Joes never really had access to before. And we now have access to them, and we're utilizing those for the benefit of things. I mean, I'd like to see what a free bird looks like at night. I need to stop bird watching. Come on. Let's go bird watching. I love bird watching. Who loves bird watching? If you guys like bird watching, who loves night bird watching? Bird watching at night. I think the next wig I'm going to get is going to have to be a black wig. We're going to have to go with a black wig next, because I got all black outfits, right? I got all black outfits, and you shine a light, and my head would shine. It would be like a flashing light. It's like, oh, there's dark and a big old blonde head right here. So we're gonna have to get a black wig. All right, guys. Well, we've been lucky so far. We have really been lucky so far, and I have a funny feeling I'm getting right about 50 some miles from where my first stop. I have these trips pretty much planned. Like, my very first stop is always the same stop on this road. I won't tell you what it is, but I will tell you, because the people that ride with me know where it's at. It's the Pilot Store. That's my very first stop, is the Pilot Store, before I start making my way across the state of Florida to 95. I wonder if I'm going 95 this way. Does it go straight up I-75? I wonder. I didn't check the map. Huh. I might have to go to 95. I might stay on 75. I don't know. I know 75 in South Carolina. I hate the roads. The roads, that is the most. I do not like South Carolina interstate roads. Those are federally funded roads that South Carolina needs to be literally holding the federal government's feet to the fire and telling them to fix the darn roads. It is the worst ride. I don't know how much damage is being done to people's cars because of the lack of our government making the roadways, which is what they were designed to do. Infrastructure and law enforcement was the main goal. Safety was the main goal of our government way, way, way back 150 years ago. You know, back when we could actually put a well in our ground, drink water from the earth, you know, build our homes the way we saw fit. Now we're having to pull permits for everything. I don't know if you guys noticed. I looked at it. I think we're paying our government some 50% of our check, anywhere between 30 and 50% of our paychecks are going to our government. And people don't even realize it. They literally don't even realize it. Our government has so much money that they're literally having to give it away to other countries so they can keep collecting money from us. That's what I find very sickening and disturbing. But they do. If you guys have roadways that are messed up, you need to be calling your local. There's nothing I hate more than anything in the world is having horrible roadways. That's one thing this country should not have. Oh, PA. Well, I gotta tell you, I was in the mountains in PA. First of all, I never knew what a town that smelled like mushrooms smelled like. Not a pleasant smell. Quite offensive, but I guess people get used to it that live there. So I went running PA. And I got to tell you, I about fell over. Then the mountain roads. I remember there was this chick that I went up there to visit with. I can't remember her name because, you know, I was young. And so it was a friend from some time. I don't even remember the thing. Maybe it was I dated her son or something like that. I can't remember. But anyway, she gets in the car and there's no barrier. Like you could drive clean off the freaking road and over a mountain. There's no barrier. And she got in the car. I'm like, I'm not driving. So she gets in the car and she's like driving 40 miles an hour. Zoom, zoom, zoom. I'm holding on for dear life. I thought I was going to die. And of course, I'm in the passenger seat, and all I do is I look straight down, and I see a 20 or 30 foot fall, and she's just, it's a true story. True story. I got some funny stuff. I tell you what, life. I can laugh about it now. I don't think I was really laughing about it then, but I can laugh about it now. Yeah. Hey guys, the ones that are just tuning in, it's nice to see you this morning. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm pretty sure you guys have all figured it out. I am on the road. We're going to Tennessee, and the car is not working well. I mean, it's working okay. I don't feel like it's going to let me down. That's all I know. I don't feel like it's going to let me down. So I feel like I can get there, but it does need to go back in the shop, and another $500 part needs to be fixed. That means I'll have $2,300 wrapped up in this car on this repair. I swear to God, if this car is not running like a brand new car by the time I'm done with it, I'm going to be freaking pissed. I'm giving this man another $500 and that's it. But again, I've never had a problem with him. He was recommended by a great friend. And he's always told me everything that's gone on with my car. So, like even this, he told me exactly what's wrong with it. But I made the choice to get to Tennessee because I've been locked in my house for 7 weeks, 8 weeks. I can't do it. It's not healthy. No. It's not going to let me down. It's not going to let Sebastian down. We got warriors here. We're battle axes. We might be beat up a little bit, but we keep ticking. Might have a few scars. Might have a few scars. Alright guys, well I think that's really about it. We don't really have a whole lot to talk about. I mean, the Sebastian stuff, there's no new news on Sebastian. Sebastian hasn't been found. You know, his mom and stepfather are still POSs. They still think shopping is still more important. Shopping and eating and hanging out with friends and family is more important than going and looking for their son. Clearly they don't care. You know, I truly believe they know where their son is. I think Chris absolutely knows where their son is. I think Katie has helped them. I think Chris is about to buy Katie a new motorcycle, because I think that they know that their time is limited and they need to get, if they got bucket list items, now's the time to do it, right? That's what it's kind of feeling like to me. It's starting to feel like who, you need to hire attorneys and you're buying $40,000 motorcycles. That was an Ultra Glide that it looked like she was getting off of. That's what it looked like. And I know what my uncle paid for his Ultra Glide. So, it was expensive. It was very expensive. So I'm curious what bike that was, how much was the price tag on it, and why the heck they feel $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 on a new bike, why they can't take that money and put it toward finding their son, hiring a private investigator, putting up billboards, putting up banners all over the county. What could that money be really purchasing to help find Sebastian while they're squandering it away for a joyride? A joyride at the expense of their son. They make me sick. Like, there's no, like, you can't get this sickening off me. Like, I'm one of these pop mouth people. If I see them out there in the woods doing the right thing, I'll bite the shit out of my tongue. But I tell you what, let me see them in the frickin' store shopping. Let me see them at a frickin' grocery store shopping. They will be removing me from that store, because I will use this voice right here that God gave me and tell them exactly what I think about themselves. I tell you what, I'm sorry, but condemnation in this point, their child is missing and they're shopping for motorcycles. I'm done playing these games. Like, seriously done. All I know is Chris and Katie just better not even come near me. That's all I know. Unless they want to help. If they want to help and they want to get out there and search, I'll accept them in. But anything short of that, I don't want a freaking interview. I don't want an explanation. I don't want jack crap from any of them. You know what I want from them? I want them to get off their ass. They're sorry, lazy, good for nothing butts, and get out there in the woods and search for their damn son. I want to see them putting a sign up. I don't want an interview from them. I don't want an explanation. I just want them to do better. That's all I want. But you know what? I know that day will never come. You want to know why? Because I absolutely 100% believe that both of those parents are responsible for the disappearance and death of their child. That's my opinion, and I'm entitled to it. And damn it, I'm going to have it, and that's what I believe. That's why they're not out looking. That's why they don't give a damn about that boy. That's why it's easy for them to go out to eat. That's why it's easy for them to sell their house. That's why it's easy for them to run 3.5 hours away. That's why it's easy to go out and shop for a motorcycle instead of putting up a flyer or searching for their son. The worst part about any of these cases is looking them in their eye, and they know I know, and I know they know that I know. Because you can blow smoke up people's ass, but you're not going to blow smoke up my ass. I'll be respectful to you, but I have every bit of my facts right here. I've got the whole timeline right here. And the pieces that I forgot are written down on a piece of paper. So I can pretty much think on my feet when it comes to Christopher Proudfoot. And I swear to God, if that man comes that inches of my face, he's going to have some big problems. So Christopher Proudfoot, Katie Proudfoot, I'm telling you, you're going to want to keep your distance from me. I don't want to fear for my safety while I'm in your community. Good morning. It's nice to see you all. It's nice to see you all. So for all the people that are coming in, we are going to Tennessee. I'm on my way there now. I'm actually going to kill this live because we're about to start getting into some bad receptive areas here in Florida. I'm making my way. I've got about another 40 some miles before I start making my way across, and that's if I go. I don't know if I'm going up 75 or 295, but if I'm going up 75, I won't be making, I'll still be making my pit stop at the pilot, but I'll be getting on I-75 versus making my way across the state to get on I-95. So we'll see which way it takes me. They aren't looking because they know where he is exactly. I absolutely believe that. I'm sorry, I do. Nobody can explain to me. I mean, seriously, just explain to me why any parent, like we've talked to so many, good grief. You know, I mean, Brandy Neal does not agree with, you know, a lot of stuff. I love that lady. God bless her for everything that she's been through. I'm glad she gave me a fair shake, because I certainly gave her one. But I know she doesn't agree with the condemnation of the parents, because her herself went through it. And I'm sorry that she did. I know she didn't do it. She didn't have condemnation at the hands of me. And that's the difference. I don't care about other people's condemnation, because I don't know their work. I didn't do their work. I know my work. I don't point my finger at anybody without a good reason to. When I started getting on the fence where I was about to start looking at Brandy and Tyler in this, because, you know, everybody was just in my ear. You need to look at them. You need to look at them. And I have been putting, you know, when I was comparing Don Wells and Candace, I was comparing them to Brandy Neal and Tyler and their behavior, and then to think that they could be responsible, I just couldn't bring myself. And we kind of touched on it a little bit, and I felt so bad in my core that I'm like, I can't keep doing. I need to know what truly happened. I need to know what truly happened, because I was going to go scorch earth on Brandy and Tyler if I thought that they had anything to do with their son. And there's no doubt in my mind that I would and could have. But I do my job, and I do my job well. And I went out there and I found many people. And I'm not talking about a few or somebody that knew her or anything like that. I found many people that saw that woman frantic that day, looking for her son. They thought they were looking for a dog. She was looking for a lost dog. One lady even said, I was like, man, she's really tearing that playground up looking for that dog. And she didn't realize she was looking for her child. And she's just like, you just knew something was wrong on her face. Those are not answers. I've done this long enough that that's not usually a response I get for somebody that has done something to their child. I met with the drone guy in Michael Monkey Vaughn's case. I don't know if you recall, but a drone got shot out of the sky from one of the people that didn't want the drones there. And of course, he was out there with law enforcement. He had to eat that. That was almost a $20,000 drone. I met with the drone guy that was out there, and he told me the behaviors of them. These are not indicative of parents that knew anything about what happened to their child. I can tell you that. And that's what I brought back. There's, in my mind, after I met with Brandy, and trust me, there were so many people that reached out to that woman saying I was going to twist her words up. I don't have to twist people's words up. I don't even edit. I'm not, you know, he likes the stuff being perfect and stuff. I'm more raw footage. So I hate editing. So I don't edit anything out. I don't manipulate the videos. I'm usually, if the only thing that I'll usually edit out is the long gaps. Like if there's a long air between it where somebody's collecting their thoughts, or it just, you know, maybe they need to compose themselves or something like that. That doesn't need to be in the video. Those are the only types of things I've ever really clipped out of my interviews. But I'll always give anybody an opportunity and a platform, and do it respectfully on my channel, because at the end of the day, it's about finding the victim. It's about learning about the victim. It's about helping get leads to law enforcement for the victims to help solve the case. And that's the name of the game. So anything over and above that, you know, I'm respectful to people. I don't have the need to be nasty to an interviewee, even if I think they're guilty of sin. I use my ability to examine what they're saying and rebut. If they're not saying something, or I have information that contradicts that, I'm going to ask them about it. I don't need to scream in their face to do that. When I met with Don Wells, it was a very pleasant conversation. It was a tough conversation, but a very pleasant one. It wasn't, there was no screaming, there was no yelling, you know, we kept an upbeat behavior. We talked, we just talked. And it didn't, in my opinion, didn't bode too well for him, because I gave him an opportunity to tell me who else I could look at. He can't tell me. He said there's nobody else to look at. We've cleared every person he's given us to look at. And so I even told him, I said, well, Don, you know, you're kind of in a pickle here, because we have nobody else to look at. Everything is coming back here to this house and into just a few handful of people. Can you explain that to me? And he says, no, I can't. Okay. You know? You didn't see me screaming at him and calling him a murderer or all this other, or recording him and turning that into a cut up and manipulated video. I don't do that. I can't stand people that do that. I truly, if you're out for the good cause, you don't need to manipulate anything. You don't need to get that. You don't need to do that. You give people the information. Sometimes things pan out. Sometimes things just don't. If you can't accept things that don't pan out, then don't do this stuff. If you got to lie because something you said doesn't pan out, oh wow, that's life. I don't want Don and Candace Wells to be responsible for their child's disappearance, but I know they are. That's the problem. And I'm not trying to convince anybody. I did the work. My mind's made up. I'm not going, if people want to be in the dark and they don't want to do the work to find out the information to get there themselves, or they need law enforcement to tell them, hey, this is how you need to think. You know, what you need to think. This is what we're going to tell you is happening. Like some people, they literally will only report what law enforcement tells them. That's not reporting. That's commentating. That's commentating. Well, I totally, absolutely disdain mainstream media. You know, most of it. I shouldn't say all of it. There's good mainstream people that I like, that I respect, and still know what it is to be a true journalist. But I denounce people that sit there and put yourself in a box. For example, I heard of this one idiot that touts herself as a journalist because she worked with somebody big, which I could really give two shits about, saying that you can't be an advocate or an activist and a journalist. She's already painted herself into a box. She will never get out of. She will always be defined and confined in that box. I will never do that to myself. I will never do that to myself. What I can tell you is you can do whatever you put your mind to do. If you want to be a journalist and an activist, you most definitely can. You can report the news and be involved in it. You can go out there and have your voice be heard for causes and report on those causes. Anybody that tells you otherwise is an idiot, an absolute idiot that's probably from the same place that I denounce mainstream media and their shenanigans. If you want to paint yourself in the box, that box, little girl, you go ahead, but don't ever try to paint me in that box. And yes, you can be both. And I come out here and prove it each and every day with my 180,000 followers that are beside me doing it. So with that being said, clearly you can do both. And anybody that tells you that you can't do something, you give them the middle finger and you tell them you can do anything you put your mind to do. And I truly do believe it. For each and every person that watches this show, I hope you know I came from a place where I was almost dead. And I've changed my entire life. I have chosen, I was a taker. I chose to give back. And I haven't stopped giving back since I have changed my life. Am I a perfect being? No, I cuss entirely too much. I get overly passionate about causes, and you know, I'm not a perfect being. But you know what? I'm better than I was, and I am definitely a perfect imperfection. And I love each and every day for the most part. I mean, I've been going through a lot of emotional stuff, as you guys can imagine, over the last couple of years, but I still try to come here with a smile on my face, and I put one foot in front of the other every single day. And that's what I expect from everybody. You know, I try to lead by example. You guys watch how life throws me curveballs all the time, and you wonder how I do it. It's because you just got to keep doing it. It's how passionate are you about a cause? Are you really invested in this? If you're not invested in it, find something that you can be invested in. Because once you find something that really has you, and it doesn't feel like a job anymore, it feels like a way of life. And that's kind of what this is for me. It's no longer a job, it's just a way of life. We get out there, we do the best we can, and that's all that's expected of us every single day. So I just hope people wake up and realize, you know, if you're living a miserable life, I mean, trust me, even nowadays, even with the smile on my face, days get rough, okay? Days get really, really rough. And, but the difference is What's the difference between a successful person and an unsuccessful person? A successful person is simply willing to do what an unsuccessful person is unwilling to do. That's the difference. That's the only difference. So I'm unwilling to listen to somebody paint me in a box and tell me I can't do something. I'm unwilling to do that. And you know what? Because I'm unwilling to do that, I will always be successful. So don't ever allow somebody to tell you what you are, who you are, or paint you in a box that you don't deserve to be in. The sky is the limit. You need to go find your sky. Go find your stars. Go find your moon. And when you're done, come back here and spread the love, right? And teach somebody else how to do that. And that's what I'm doing. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. I'm going to say deuces for a while because I know we're really about to get into some desolate area and I don't want to go down. So I love you. God bless, and we'll see you soon.